Hello and welcome to Tao Radio.
Thanks for joining us. This is Mona and
Leah.
And we're here to take you on a journey with us while we explore the great sounds, music, arts and cultures from all around the world.
How will you tell your mother? Hello.
Hi everyone. It's Mona, Leah, and Habibi decided to be part of our launch podcast episode.
Please say hi. Hi. To the good people of Tao Radio.
Yeah, so we're super excited. This is something Leah and I have been talking about for about
a couple of years?
No, more than that.
4 years.
No, more than that. I think it's been for 8 years we've been planning this.
Don't procrastinate, kids.
Just don't. Yeah. Life has interrupted, but I think also many new experiences, and we've gotten to know ourselves better.
Each other better,
and why we're doing this better.
And
as well.
Funnily enough, these are the themes of today's podcast. Who are we and what are we doing and why?
So we're super excited to say welcome aboard the Tao Radio train. Leah and I, we met, when was it? It was
2016.
And soon after we came up with this kind of plan, didn't we? So 8 years ago we met. We were both working in kind of programming around arts and culture,
literature, music,
and we found that we interlinked in so many ways. You know, our passion about place, our passion about folklore. Music, obviously, folklore in all its manifestation, you know, how it relates to movement, dance, particularly in Leah's case, which she's very close to, music, art.
Cultures interweaving, you know, histories that converge in certain places like London, where we did meet and where we are right now. But for example, Muna's just taken her DNA test and... It's an interesting one. Where are you from?
A bit of everywhere, frankly. So it's I'm still trying to process that information, but it's really interesting. You know, what is it? We listen to these incredible pieces of music, which are called folkloric music, and something in us just opens up. At times it relaxes, at times it soothes us, at times it just moves us to just another level of being. It's like entering a place or a space that's just outside our moment right now. It's ecstatic. Beyond time. Yeah, it's ecstatic. It's ecstatic music. And and we love it and we want more of it, and we want to learn through, you know, this radio show. I think part of us doing it is actually committing the time to explore.
Just spending time in it.
Yeah.
To being in that feeling.
Being in that feeling. So folklore. What is folklore? It's folk.
Lore. Are you folk and I'm lore?
Yeah, so who's folk? Folk are people. Right? People who come from a particular place, who have a commonality. Or
at least through being together, create that commonality. I don't think it has to come before them. I think it's the fact that they share space that creates that fabric itself, which is why it's universal and, hypnotic.
Yeah, and then the lore...
And the lore we have just learned is nothing to do with the law, like the rules. It's nothing to do with the lords, like the people who have power. Lore is
learning and knowledge.
Inherent knowledge.
So it's inherent knowledge. So folklore together is the learning of people and the knowledge of people, and most of it is the unwritten, passed down knowledge that, you know, is as you can say programmed into the cultural outputs that come from places, whether it be it's music, it's art, it's performance, it's food.
I would say it's also the body. It's the programming that we carry inside our bodies, which is also the inherent wisdom and knowledge that lives inside of us. And many times we disconnect from it because authority seems to come from outside. So through this music, through these roots, through the artists that know how to access that wisdom and who play their truth, who feel a connection to those, ancestral lines, I think it's all about opening that window or carving that path so that we can all come back to the subjective truth that is great, that often gets suppressed.
Absolutely, and I agree with you there, but I also want to just add on that, that doesn't mean it's not contemporary. One of the things Leah and I are completely obsessed with is the intersection between folklore, technology, and place. Yeah, and space, really, place and space, and and how do we play on all of that? What does it mean to have contemporary folklore? It means that this is the seed that's in all of us, and we can express it how we want to based on the times we're living in, but taking it forward.
Yeah, and also observing that nature is full of technologies. Nature is technology. It's like the greatest technology, and all of our instruments are trying to emulate that order, which already exists. So exploring how the technologies that we are in the process of making in this day and age and nature mirror one another, maybe are compatible, maybe are incompatible, because I think that the human incarnation, like our generation, is a product of those technologies. And there is transhumanism at play at the moment. There is a lot of forward momentum. How far do we get from, the Homo Deus or whatever version we're in right now? And how does expression have anything to do with it? Because I think that they are very, very interwoven.
Yeah, so contemporary folklore is going to be a huge theme we're going to talk about amongst each other with special guests.
You
and also and we're going to invite a lot of musicians and artists to play in this space, because we also want to play in this space. We think play is a very important aspect of what makes folklore. When you think about folklore, there's joy around it, right? It's music, it's art, it's food, it's performance, it's dress. It's things that people express with. So there is play in that, there is joy in that, and we're going to explore elements. Of course, there's also lament in it. There's the gamut of the human relationship, but the joyfulness of expressing oneself. Yeah, we are 100%. Expressing the lore of the folk, and so super excited.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm especially interested in are expressions of emotion and how you can do it, whatever art form, or maybe even through more technocratic means, people where they channel those feelings and those emotions. I'm training in emotional release technique, and of course folklore is one of the environments in which I think the gamut of the whole spectrum of human feeling is celebrated, and that's very different from our daily lives. In our daily lives, we have to present in quite narrow, specific emotional ranges so as to be palatable to other people. But through
pulse-like basis, right? It's like very categorical.
That question, how are you? I mean, how often is it sincere? How often is the whole answer really desired? And through folklore, actually, these are specifically the places in which all of the truth is welcome. And I really appreciate it for that reason too. So you have expressions of sadness, of wailing, of joy, of it's every sort of rhythm, every sort of texture to be uncovered.
Yeah, over the next few weeks, we will slowly, we're trying not to make too many promises, we will slowly introduce and also be introduced ourselves to new sounds. And some old favorites as well. I think we're starting with Greece, Poland, and Sudan,
I wonder why. Maybe it's because
there's a little bit of all of us in there. I mean, Leah, do you want to start?
I'm half Greek, half Spanish, born and raised in London, lived in Poland, which was a significant chapter of my life.
And my parents also come from the Sudan. I grew up all around the world, primarily in the Middle East, including the Lebanon for a long time, which we'll make a showing. And so these are influences that I'm going to bring in, definitely. Trying to go back and include some knowing ourselves, and I think that's a huge theme for Lee and me in terms of how we see our progress as people, our contribution to the world. The more we know ourselves, the better we can contribute.
100%. 100%. What do you think, Habibi?
Shall we call it a wrap?
Should we say bye for today?
Bye.
Bye.